Visual aids are very important in any type of presentation, whether formal or informal. We live in a very visually stimulating society, so it needs to get incorporated into our presentations. So I want to start off with why we need or why advantages of using visual aids. So first of all, it may provide clarity, especially in a process. Think about if you did not have some type of diagram in a process type of situation, say putting together a table or a desk. You need those pictures, those diagrams to help clarify the steps. Maybe even a concept may help to clarify a difficult or confusing concept. Interest keeps interest, maintains interest, a picture, a diagram. That leading to even retention. A chart. You may be able to convey your message through a chart, and a person may remember, say, statistically versus just listing a bunch of statistics. It also helps with credibility, and I'm going to lead that into persuasiveness as well. So credibility of yourself, you've prepared it. That credibility also then into persuasiveness. Maybe you're using an expert video testimony. You're using sources that are credible. So everything that you use, all of your supporting material, which many times your visual aid will be a type of supporting material, helps to lead to your credibility. So some factors to consider. Now, for an online class, this may not be real valuable, but you do need to understand your environment. So what are you comfortable with? What's the size of the audience, or who are your audience members? That is something to keep in mind when you're thinking of a visual aid and how you're creating your visual aid, is who are your audience members? What's the equipment, the environment? If you were doing something maybe in a classroom or in front of an audience, you want to look at your costs as well as the effectiveness, for sure, any point of what the effectiveness of your visual aid is. So types of visual aids. You could have an object or a model, photo or drawing, graph, chart, video, the speaker themselves, or some type of presentation technology, or a combination of all of these, or incorporating some of these into, say, a graph into that presentation technology. So here's an example. Let's break this down a little bit further. We have objects and models. So you could have a book, maybe it's your favorite book, Pride and Prejudice, and you want to talk about it. Maybe you have pottery that either you made or something of tradition. Your grandmother's painted Russian eggs. So that might be an example. In my area where I live here in South Central Pennsylvania, we have a lot of trains in this area. It's a hot topic. Maybe you're going to tell us about your collection, your favorite, the railroads, etc. Photos or drawings. These, just keep in mind whether it is in front of your audience or on some type of technology, that it's large enough for your audience to see and to understand clearly. So don't pass it around if it's something that you're in the classroom or even, in a live situation. Photos and drawings, again, just display it. Here's a great example. This would be displayed on some type of presentation technology. You have your graphs, and again, displayed through PowerPoint, Prezi, Google Slides, knowing whatever you're comfortable with using. Line graph, over time changes. Pie chart, this one discusses your favorite fruit. Bar graph, comparisons, could be vertical or horizontal. Overall, charts help listeners visualize information, even that step-by-step process, as I noted earlier. If you're how to do something, how to put something together, even 4 steps into recycling, it allows your audience to visualize it. Keep them clean, keep them simple. Let's move on to videos. A few things about videos. Yes, you can incorporate it into any presentation. You do want to keep them short. As a rule of thumb, I allow 1 minute of video as part of your time. So whether you keep it at 1 full minute, you have 2 30-second clips, I would not go any shorter than 3 20-second clips. So make sure you integrate them, make sure it works with the technology that we're using. You, the speaker, you could actually be the visual aid. Say you're going to teach us how to do yoga or Tai Chi or how to do something else. You're going to be the actual visual aid. You need to practice with that. You still need to keep good eye contact. With that presentation technology, you're going to incorporate what you need. Use it strategically. The presentation technology, a PowerPoint is not a guide to your speech. It is an enhancement, just like any other type of visual aid. It's an enhancement to your speech. What does your presentation need? You don't want it to overpower you. Also, obviously, you don't want to read from the screen. You're going to need to practice with it whether you're in front of the classroom or doing an online class where you need to incorporate it into the program. So let's talk about visual aids as in PowerPoint, Prezi, or even Google Slides. Obviously, you want to prepare everything well enough in advance. Keep it simple, large enough, limit the text, use fonts that are visually pleasing, use colors effectively, and images strategically. So let's go into this a little bit deeper. So limit that text. You can see here highlighted, clean fonts, nice colors, very clean, visually pleasing. So again, the fonts, at the most 2 per slide. Keep it fairly standard. Keep those titles and body text cleaned, organized. Here's an example of some fairly ineffective fonts, just hard to read. And then you have examples of more effective. Arial, Times New Roman. Images. Make sure they're clean enough, easy to see. Watch the amount that you have. Watch the resolution. Now, how do you present your visual aid? If you're in the classroom, these are some key things. Either way, whether you're in the classroom or an online class, your listener needs to be able to see it. So make sure it's clear. Make sure that, again, whether it's online or in the classroom, everyone can see it. In the classroom, don't pass it around. Only display it while you're discussing it. So depending on which program you use, you can turn it off so your focus can be back on you versus your visual aid. Again, talk to your audience, not your visual aid. Explain your visual aid. Don't just say, I have a graph here, or here's a diagram to show you. Explain it. You've put the time in to create this visual aid. Explain it. And always make sure that you check your room and your equipment. So visual aids are going to be great enhancement to your presentation. What does your topic need? How does it need enhanced? What does it need maybe for memory? What will give more attention? Think about this.